There are now just two known survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre. Hughes Van Ellis passed away at the age of 102 in Denver on Monday night. His family says he died still awaiting justice. Justice that is still being sought by a determined lawyer and a Tulsa lawmaker. Joe Filomeno joins us now with more on an interim study convened recently at the state capitol. Joel.
Rich, the remaining two survivors, 109-year-old Viola Fletcher and Leslie Benningfield Randall, who was 108, both attended the interim study to consider direct payments of reparations to the survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre.
We got to keep doing this because they know the truth.
Representative Regina Goodwin greets a 2001 Tulsa Race Massacre Commission member at the Capitol ahead of an interim study focused on the fallout from the 2 days of terror the Greenwood District experienced in 1921.
They have not seen justice, and they're simply asking for something that should have been delivered 102 years ago.
Goodwin, a descendant of victims from the massacre, says the fight for reparations spans across generations.
If I go before them or they go before me, there are going to be generations unborn. We're going to continue to pursue justice.
The purpose of the study was to discuss scholarship programs, economic development for the Greenwood District, a memorial for the reburials of victims, and direct payments and reparations for the massacre.
Hold this House accountable, hold this legislature accountable, because this commission came here 22 years ago. They were state sanctioned, and we're trying to follow up on where we are.
Attendees of the study say that little progress has been made since the 2001 Tulsa Race Riot Commission report, which redesignated the event from a riot to a massacre.
We saw information today that was just absurd to see, that you're supposed to have scholarships for descendants, 300 per year, and they've had not even that amount over the last 22 years.
Demario Solomon Simmons, attorney for the surviving victims, says reparations should be the priority.
At least remove the statute of limitations, like we've done with sexual assault victims, and allow those families to move forward in court against those insurance companies, because they falsely labeled it a riot when it was a massacre, so they could use the exclusion riot clauses to not pay the millions of dollars in insurance claims.
Goodwin has pushed for reparations in the legislature, and while her bill hasn't passed, Goodwin says she's made progress.
Passed off the House floor, passed out of Senate committee. So we know there are folks that are willing to do right. We just get it across the finish line. I heard Chair West say today that he's willing to work towards something good.
Goodwin contends that more than a century later, justice has yet to be served.
It's about accountability 102 years later. I am a descendant of race massacre survivor, so absolutely it matters. I was born in the Greenwood area. I grew up on Greenwood Street.
The Harvard Business School estimates $200 million in damages were caused by the burning, looting, bombing, and killing during the massacre. Goodwin says because it was initially labeled a riot, insurance companies were able to deny victims' claims.
Ultimately, insurance companies fell back on an exclusionary clause that prevented payouts on many claims. The policies with that clause said insurers wouldn't be held liable for loss caused directly or indirectly by invasion, insurrection, riot, civil war, or commotion, or military or usurped power.
Simmons filed a lawsuit on behalf of the survivors for the reparations from the city of Tulsa and other responsible parties. However, that case was thrown out by a Tulsa district judge over the summer. The survivors have appealed that decision to the Oklahoma State Supreme Court.
We're simply only asking the court at this point to allow us to get back into court, to utilize the proper standard that the Oklahoma legislature has said since 1984, that we have already pleaded a public nuisance. We just need an opportunity to prove it.
Last Thursday's study was held less than a week after the completion of a third round of grave excavations at the Oak Lawn Cemetery in Tulsa. 59 additional graves were unearthed on September 29th.
We're just kind of wrapping things up, and we have, at this point in time, we can report that we have uncovered and delineated and mapped in 59 additional graves.
Oklahoma State archaeologist Carrie Stackelbeck says additional DNA testing will be conducted on 7 sets of remains.
Those individuals have been transported to our on-site forensic laboratory.
While there has been progress at the excavation site, others say the process hasn't been fully transparent.
This is very much a state issue.
Chief Egwun Wale Amushan A member of the Tulsa Mass Graves Public Oversight Committee says the city of Tulsa started the excavations out of good faith.
The race massacre centennial was over. The oversight committee was shelved. Meetings were conducted in private. Recordings were not posted to the internet where the public could watch.
He says the city lacked transparency and didn't clarify where the found remains would end up.
If you go online, whether it's the city's website or any other documentation, archaeological documentation that's current, they have removed the language of mass grave.
He says that an investigation into the excavations is needed.
We cannot properly conduct a mass grave investigation. Supported by a greatly needed unbiased oversight committee, I recommend funding to support the expansion of this investigation well beyond Oaklawn Cemetery.
Simmons says they are discovering more lineages of massacre victims.
We have almost 1,000 descendants in our network, and we're growing each and every day, finding descendants, doing their genealogy, doing their oral history, and making sure people know where they are and who they are. It can be done.
While uncovering the past is important, survivors and descendants are looking to the future as well. Representative Goodwin says the Tulsa Reconciliation Education and Scholarship Program is one of the original recommendations laid out by the 2001 Tulsa Race Massacre Commission. Nominees eligible receive a one-time scholarship award of $1,000 to use in an accredited Oklahoma college or public post-secondary career technology center.
It's good policy, right? And for those that are not educated, those that need to become more educated, you need to get to school. Folks need money. So this is a great way to move generations forward. This is Miss Viola Ford Fletcher. She's 109.
The Oklahoma State Supreme Court heard the appeal from the survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre on October 10th. Attorney Solomon Simmons says their final reply brief takes place November 6th. Rich.
Very good, Joel. Thank you.